Good evening, everyone. This is Maurice from the Triple M Model Railroad, and this is New Year's Eve, people. Happy New Year, and I hope next year will go well for everyone. And right now, as what you can see in front of you, I have my two UPGVOs, and also I have these two speakers from ZIMO, and I ordered them from Streamlined Back Shop. And these speakers are pretty hard to find. I mean, I was glad that Streamline had them. At first, they actually had them, and then they sold out, and then they got maybe a couple again. And by the time I got money together, then they were sold out again. So I've been emailing the, I guess the owner of Streamline, and he basically stated, they were coming in soon. And sure enough, when Christmas came around, they were in stock, and they had plenty of them. So if you are interested in these speakers, especially after this installation and performance review, just head up to these guys. Again, Streamline Back Shop, and they will actually take care of you. So basically, I have everything together. I got everything I need. I took off as you can see, the top of one of the engines, just for starters. I'll get in a little bit more detail in the next slide. So just stay tuned. Be right back. Okay, as for the speakers themselves, they are very interesting. I'm looking. The version I have is actually the 16 ohm variant of it. They come in two variants. They come in 8 ohm and 16 ohm, to simplify it. And it's encased, I don't know, it's kind of interesting because it looks like some sort of graphite. It's not, I don't think it's like regular plastic. And on their website, it doesn't say, on the ZIMO website, to be more specific, it doesn't say what these are made out of. But it's pretty solid looking piece of equipment. I mean, it's put together pretty well. It's pretty sturdy. I'm just very interested in the sound. Now, to give credit where credit's due, the gentleman that actually showcases these speakers on his website he goes by the handle of Roria. And when I first heard these things, I was just blown away by the sound. The sound is just incredible for something so small. It actually sounds like another set of speakers that I have. It's one of the oval speakers, and it's about the same size as this, and it's just a tad bulkier. But these, from what I heard from the video, sounds much more crisp, much more precise. And these are the cell phone speakers. Two cell phone speakers are mounted onto the baffle, this unique looking baffle. So I'm very curious to hear how this sounds. The speaker itself is I believe is the LSG 50 by 15 by 40 millimeter speaker. This is the one that I have here. And if I hadn't mentioned before, they were pretty hard to find. ZIMO don't sell directly from their site any equipment that I've noticed, including the American website. So you can't get them on you can't purchase them on their website, but you can purchase them from Streamline Backshop, and so far they're the only ones that I know of that actually carry these speakers. I could be wrong, but so far I haven't found anyone that had these. You know, Backshop always had pretty unique, in my opinion, like, you know, something that is hard to find, you can actually find it on their website in most cases. So I'm going to put this back, put this over here, and I'm going to bring this up front. Alright. My wonderful ZIMO. Now, as you can see, I've taken off the, no scratch, be careful with this, the radiator housing. I've taken that off. It came up pretty easy, but you gotta be careful with not to break this. Please don't break this fiber optic, and you break that, then you have problems. But it came off fairly easy. Just gotta be a little careful. And you can see here there is a 0.28 millimeter speaker, and it has this housing, and I mean, it's, you know, it sounds fairly good. I mean, it's pretty good, so I can't go wrong with this, you know. But since I'm a super user and I'm a stickler for sound, I'm going to get rid of the speaker and replace it with what you see here, the ZIMO. What I'm thinking about doing, just looking at initially, I may have to, let me see something. That's going to be interesting. I have to mount those speakers a certain way so it doesn't rub on the pivoting of the truck. So I don't want that to, I gotta see what I gotta do. Once I take this apart, remove the speaker. Remove the speaker is it's the easy part. It's gotta pry this a little bit, and the speaker will come out. Then I have to cut the wires, and then I have to solder them. I have all this equipment ready. All it's ready to go. Got the wiring. So I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit and see what can be done. I also got to make sure that I don't cover the light. And I don't know if you can see it. It's within on the right hand side. It's like you see these two little square slots. And the slot furthest to the right, the right hand one, that one has the light. So that cannot be covered. So it's not going to be as easy as I thought of it. I thought I was going to drop it and call it a day. And also, as you can see over here, I have some, get the camera straight, I have cotton balls. You may ask why I'm going to put some cotton balls on them. That's a very good question. Cotton balls, actually, if you put cotton, I guess around the speaker, you would actually get better sound. The sound is much more crisp. Now, I had demonstrated in another video how well that that putting cotton balls in the speaker housing sounds, and for some dumbass reason, and I know some people have seen this video, no sound came through. You didn't hear me talking. And I got a lot of views from that. funny. I had a lot of views from that video, and there was no sound. I didn't realize there was any sound. The only sound you heard was the music in the beginning, and that was it. You didn't hear nothing else. You just saw trains on the screen, my engines on the screen, just going back and forth with no sound. And I was surprised no one had dinged it. That was pretty hilarious. I don't understand why. My uncle had brought it to my attention yesterday, and I took a look, and I was like, oh crap, I don't know what the hell happened. But actually, I do know what happened. I noticed there was a problem with the actual editing page, the page editor of YouTube. There was this funny error that kept coming up, but I ignored it. I didn't pay no attention to it, and I could still basically edit my videos, but I was getting this annoying error. And excuse me, I still have a cold. So basically what happened was I processed the video. It seemed like it processed fine. There was no issues until it was brought to my attention there was no sound. So I'm sorry. I pulled the video yesterday. I pulled it out, and one guy actually asked the question, what happened to the sound? Just now, I was like, I don't know how he found that video, if I pulled it, but actually I had to unlist it, so it probably was someone forwarded to him, maybe. I don't know, who knows. But, okay, let's get to it. I'm going to mess around with this, and I'm going to see if I can get this working for you guys. I'll install it on both the speakers on both of them. I'm going to pull out the MTH and the Athens Genesis that I displayed in the other video, and I'll go over with that as well. So this is going to be a fairly long video, and you'll see all of that in action. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've removed the speaker, which was pretty easy. And this with this long black, fairly long black wire, I'm just going to snip it. I'm going to snip it where I have my fingers, right here. Just cut them right off. And I put the new speaker. It looked like it'll be. Let me get a better camera angle on this. As you can see part of the chassis, or the chassis weight. So that would actually fit in pretty nicely. I don't have to worry about it hitting the actual part for the trucks, that pivot of trucks, or the worm wheel housing to be more precise. See, as you can see, it fits in very nicely. Very, very nicely. I just had to make sure I secure it because you can see it just wiggles around in here. So I'll probably put some tape to actually hold it down. And probably what I'll do is also I'll put some cotton on the sides. I'll try to hold it down, you know, to keep it from shimming. So yeah, so that's pretty easy. So next I'll just cut this and then excuse me, I'm going to solder these wires on. I'd rather do it that way. So it'll be a little bit longer than it should. I'm trying to avoid using this heat gun near any type of near the plastic, because sometimes I can get very clumsy or absent-minded, and when that happens, I have a tendency to destroy stuff, and I'll be very upset with myself. But yeah, you know, I'd rather have the actual connectors, but I didn't get enough of them. I used them on my MTH, and so okay. So that's going to be up next. Is the actual final phase of the installation. Okay, I'm back. Basically, I learned something. This is not quite a straightforward install that I thought it would be. I ran into a little snag. Now, I have it on the track and I tested it. As a matter of fact, I should turn it on just to demonstrate to you. It will come on. It sounds, I won't say okay. It has crackle in it. Now, I thought probably maybe I might have not soldered the connectors properly. I mean, these look firmly soldered, and I have it on the other engine too, and it's the same issue. So I went back and I looked at how Roria had done this. Now, what I've noticed is that, let me show you on his video. His video, you see here, there's another, like, I won't say cable, another line here. And it's soldered, the wires are soldered here and here. But there's another line that's here. That look like that's been installed by ZIMO. I don't think this was installed by Roria. So this probably completes the circuit, and most likely that might be what the problem is. But both speakers didn't come with this, as you can see here. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to wire, I have the wire ready here, I'm going to have to wire it from here to here. That's what I'm going to have to do. And see how that works. And I guess I had to bring out the soldering iron again. But it is what it is. And we'll see how it works out. This is all a learning curve to see how to get these, speakers at its maximum potential. And now it does sound pretty decent, I have to admit. So, matter of fact, let me start it up. Okay, let's see. Most likely it's actually working on one speaker. Alright, let me hit the horn. I don't know if you hear the crackle. Especially when you hit the horn. I mean, it's not terrible. I just had to go over the soldering points again. And I'm going to solder those wires into place. And then we'll take it from there. Okay, I'm back. I figured out what I was doing wrong. Now, I just wired one set of speakers, basically. And this one, this tab or this piece of metal that you see here, I don't know if you can see it with the camera, is wired to this speaker here. So all I have to do was just take another wire, jump it to here. And once I've done that, then both speakers actually work properly. Some minor oversight. So now they're wired correctly. Let me fire it up for you so you can hear. There's no more crackling sounds anymore. Yeah, it sounds much cleaner now. There is some minor crackling you hear every now and then. But other than that, it sounds pretty good. All right, very good. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the engine and work on the other one, and we'll be ready to go. I'll be right back. Okay, people, I am back. This is actually my third take. Hopefully this is the last one. I am very tired right now. It's been a long afternoon, a long evening. It's already after 12. Happy New Year to everybody. I've been working on these engines basically most of the day, getting the sounds, the speakers installed, which was it was a little daunting because I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to look at different photos. Had to look at Roria's video to see what I may have done wrong, and there was some interesting things that I found. That was kind of strange, but I managed to get that addressed when it comes to how to wire the speakers up correctly. Basically, they're wired in parallel right now, and they work extremely well, for the exception of the popping. Yep, I had gotten popping, and I can't keep my legs still. I don't know why, but anyway, popping. I was experiencing some popping. I was beating my head against the wall, figuring out why is these speakers popping. As expensive these speakers are, and as high tech these speakers are, these things should not pop for crap. But like everything else, everything is a learning process. And once you learn it, then you don't have to worry again. And the problem was the sound settings were too high. Yep. The sound settings were too high, and there was basically two CVs I had to change. The first CV is basically 32. I had to change the value from 0 to 1. 32 actually will make you be able to actually change CVs anything above CV 257. Now the second CV is 259. Now that one is the actual prime mover or diesel engine sounds or volume, more or less. That was changed to a value of 99. The default value was 128. And once I've changed that, no more popping. The only thing is, the volume is lower. And I'm trying to figure out, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, I generally like my trains very loud. Some people like them pretty quiet. They claim that's more prototypical. I really don't. I can't say I don't think so, because I never heard a prime mover at full power at close range. I've only heard it from YouTube when people filming, and sometimes the camera will actually exaggerate the sounds and make it sound louder than what it is. So, saying that, the quality of the sound is basically very good. Is it different from the original speakers? I wish I had tested it before I've done all this swap out. I mean, I was making the assumption that it's going to sound like light years better than the speakers that were replaced. They don't. In my opinion, they really don't that much. I mean, it sounds crisper. It's a little more cleaner. There's a bit more. There is a bit more bass, not a whole lot, but it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, from what I heard from the video that I first saw the speakers installation in, I was really impressed. Um, but that probably due to the camera picking up the sounds and making it louder than what it is. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm at like, I'm not at a loss. I do like the speakers. It does sound somewhat better. It doesn't sound a whole lot better. I know probably I'm mumbling or rambling and probably don't make any sense, but you will have to try this for yourself to see, what's the best benefit. And maybe come to think of it, it might be because since they have two different versions of the speaker, I got actually the 8 ohm speakers. And that could be a reason. The other version they have is a 4 ohm. Now, for the GIVO fleet that I'm going to get during this year, which is going to be the BSNF, was that the EC44C4s or the ET44C4s, whatever comes first, those are most likely going to get the 4 ohm speakers. And then I can test it to see if it's louder. It just may be louder because it has less resistance. So that would kind of make sense in electrical terms. And I wouldn't think that the 4 or the 8 ohm is that much of a difference, but it could be. It really could be. Now, if you look at this engine here, which is the MTH, this one has basically the same decoder, locked sound select, but the speakers that's on there are actually 28 millimeter speakers mounted on the fuel tank, under the fuel tank, excuse me, and they are rated at actually 8 ohms apiece. 8 ohms apiece at 1 watt. It draws 1 watt of power a piece. Whereas in this engine, 2 speakers, same 8 ohms, but it's at 2 watts per speaker. So this might have more current draw than what maybe the decoder can handle. I was trying to find some information on that to see what's the wattage rating on the decoder itself. But going back to this one sounds louder. I won't say much louder, but it does sound louder than the ZIMOs. And these speakers in here are TCSs, by the way. So, interesting. Very interesting. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep it like this. I'm satisfied with it. I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but I mean, and overall, I'm pretty. I'm satisfied with it. This will do for now. This is not one of my main engines. If I want to change them out, I would maybe later on. I doubt it. I'll just keep it like it is. My BSNFs will just have to be louder than the UPs. But I can tell you that this one's definitely going to get a TCS speaker. I'm really impressed with those speakers. For getting it for the SD70M. I'm probably going to get 3 more of these. Yeah, I'm gonna be spending a lot of money next year. Gee, well, actually this year, not next year. This year, this year's here. 2017 is here. I gotta make more money and I gotta spend more money. You know the saying, you gotta pay to play. And boy, I'm gonna be playing. So I know I've been rambling for a bit, so let me just start this up so you can hear. You can hear the difference. The counter's gonna be shaking a little bit because I'm gonna have to stretch my little hands, my arms over, and change the address. This mouse is a pain in the butt. I can't stand. I have to get a new mouse. I have been actually putting it off, and God, I hate when I stretch. Yeah, I've been putting it off. I kind of like this mouse, but I dropped it on the floor too many damn times. So sometimes the left mouse button acts stupid. It binds up or it doesn't click at all. It just does everything I don't want it to do. Okay, enough of me complaining. Now let me start this up and then you can hear for yourself how it sounds with the fan. Excuse me, the fan. Good Lord, the radiator. Put the radiator on top. Oh boy, see what I'm talking about. I hit F8 and it basically turned on and turned itself off. That's what I'm talking about. I have to really be paying attention. So I'm going to start it again. See, Joe, the problem I was having in the beginning was I was hearing the clipping at the rev up phase of the startup sequence. So now if I put in the full throttle, if I just click on it and it'll stay, it actually stood this time, I'm going to put this up to notch 2. At notch 2, the bass gets very high, and generally I'll hear clipping. But this time, after all the CVs were set, it doesn't do that anymore. So let's take a listen. Yeah, see, it's nice and clean. I probably can play around with CV2 259, just a little bit more to try to eke out as much more volume out of this as possible. I mean, it's worth a try. Because to me, this sounds a little bit too low. I'll go to its full. Bring its notches all the way up. When I notice what these speakers do, or what it does, excuse me, it putters. I don't know if you can hear it through the camera phone, but it does a lot of puttering. Alright, I have it at this notch 8. Okay, it's pretty good. I'll bring it back all the way down. If you hear me sniffling in the background, you gotta excuse me. I'm very badly congested. I got this head cold. Okay, I'll power it off. Okay. There's a very nice, smooth shutdown sequence. I have to give it to ESU. They've really done an excellent job when it comes to their sound. One thing I just like to do is to extend its startup sequence. Their startup sequences are short. And the reason why they did that, because most people don't want to go through a whole long-winded start sequence. They just want to get this thing, get the engine on the track and run it. But for us enthusiasts, I would like to extend it and make it much longer than what it is. Especially when it turns on its fuel primers. The fuel primers sometimes takes a couple of minutes before the engine starts. But I'm trying to figure that out, how to extend it. I know I can't extend it with the selects, but it is possible, excuse me, slurring my words. It is possible to extend it through the version 4s. So, okay, let me switch this over to the Union Pacific -9, and we'll take a gander at this thing. Now you're going to hear the difference in sounds. Now, this is a -9, so it does sound different from a ZIMO. But you're going to hear the volume difference and the actual sound quality difference. So here we go. There's the horn. And if the mouse will work, it'd be great. Oh, it worked. All right. Oh, what I failed to do was actually activate the horn for the ZIMO. Can you hear? The horn sounds really good on it. Matter of fact, it's not too late. I just had to switch the roll number. Okay, if I get the mouse to work again, I'll be happy. Alright. Let's hit the horn. Alright. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. No, it's actually starting up too. Okay. So that's about it, really, folks. I'll just have one last segment. If you see these engines running together, I wonder if it'll actually run with all these engines with the programmer. We'll find out in just a couple of minutes. Okay, I got them all lashed up. It's not gonna go very far, but yeah, at least it's something. You're gonna hear something very interesting when I start these up. Right now they're all consisted, and I got it consisted at a roll number of 7, and I'm going to start them all up at the same time. The only engine that does not have sound is actually the SD70M in the rear. That just has a lock pilot, but I just wanted to see how it performs with the lashed up with the other engines. So let's see. Alright. 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 Hit the horn. Okay, lights are on. Alright. Let's go to notch 1. Now, I don't know if you're going to hear it from this video, but you really don't hear the GVOs. You actually will hear the -9 over the GVOs. 2 GVOs at that. I mean, you do hear them very faintly, but the -9 really stands out with the TCS speakers. Again, I still have to play around with the GVO settings, the coder settings on the GVOs. Let's stop it right here. I'm going to notch them all up and see how they sound. Yeah, that Dash 9 is very loud. Very, very loud. At this point, I don't even hear the ZIMOs anymore. Yep, that's the Dash 9. Wow. My final thoughts. As you saw, or as you heard, the Dash 9 with its two TCS speakers located in the fuel tank. Select direct decoder. Not selector, sorry. You guys get I'm tired. It's 2 in the morning. Select decoder. Just like the ones in the GIVOs. I don't know. I mean, the TCS just blows away the ZIMOs at this point when it comes to sound. Well, actually, I won't say the quality of the sound, but the loudness, the volume, more or less. You know, I do like the ZIMOs, and you know, setting them up with the CVs, they work pretty well, but they're not as loud. So this is what may have to happen. I will most likely tweak these a little bit more to see how much I can get out of them when it comes to the sound. And if I can't get them to match with the Dash 9, I will have to tune down the Dash 9 sound so it doesn't overrun the GIVOs. I mean, it literally overran the GIVOs. I mean, if you can hear it through the camera phone, how the Dash 9 just screams at high RPMs, and you barely hear a peep from these things. You know, through the GIVOs, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's an experience and something that I learned from, and you know, I take it with a grain of salt. I just have, it's a learning process, like anything in life. You know, I don't know why this thing looked like it came off. Oops, and I messed it up. I should have left it alone. But anyway, so that's it, people. I know I rambled for a long time, and this is a very long video. If you stayed with me through all this craziness, I thank you, and that means you also have a lot of patience too. So, but this is it. ZIMO installation for my two UPGVOs. You can tell I'm really tired. My speech is becoming terrible, so I'm going to get off this camera and say goodnight. And again, Happy New Year. Have a safe New Year to you and yours, and hopefully it'll be a prosperous one. So everyone take care. Peace out. I'm going to take my black ass to bed. Have a good night.